Money management is a product of psychology, philosophy, and cultural exposure. And therefore, most of the time, the problem that we have with money is not necessarily the problem of budgeting or the problem of technical awareness about money or the problem of knowing the process. Is the problem of three important things, and I think I have them right here in the screen. Number one, beliefs. Majority of us, we manage money based on how we have been brought up and level of exposure that we have had and what we have seen people whom we thought they have money do. And therefore, once we have money, that's what we do. So money management begins when we begin to allow knowledge to inform how we do things. Hello and welcome to Expansion Revolution Nuggets. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I'm so excited to be introducing to you a new series that I want to take time to deal with. This is going to be a very important series. I'm going to be dealing with what I've titled Principles of Budgeting. Principles of budgeting. Budgeting is one of the topical issues in the modern world, especially now that none of us has enough money, and therefore there's a need for us to budget for it in order for us to be able to get the maximum value out of any amount that happens to pass through our hands. I have, in my previous life, I've at a particular time taught modules on personal financial management, and I've trained both at a corporate level, and I've done a lot of work for over 10 years in this area. And I hope, as much as now I'm serving as a pastor, I believe that one of the areas we need to deal with as believers is the area that deals with money. Because anyway, money affects you whether you are a believer or a non-believer. And therefore, one of the skills that I think is important in our journey of life is learning how to manage and plan for money. So that's why I want to deal with principles of budgeting. I want to start this by asking a question. What influences us? Why are we managing money the way we do? What influences the way in which we manage money? And this is not a major subject that I've had a lot of opportunity to deal with in the past in this way, but I think it's important in this framework. So, why are we managing money the way we do? I want to suggest in this discussion that money management, my handwriting is very nice. So money management is a product of psychology, philosophy, and cultural exposure. And therefore, most of the time, the problem that we have with money is not necessarily the problem of budgeting or the problem of technical awareness about money or the problem of knowing the process. Is the problem of three important things, and I think I have them right here in the screen. Number one, beliefs. And I know what you might say to me. You say, what is the correlation between beliefs and money? Yes, there's a strong correlation because how you believe, what you believe about money influences how you would manage money. So part of the problem for most people is not on whether they have access to money, is that their belief system about money is skewed and it's wrong. Now, this is a major problem because if you study our history and what the colonial imperialism has been able to do to us, majority of us have come in from a system of colonialism that was us the masters and the slaves. You say, how long can this system affect us? We have just ended our colonialism in the context of Botswana just recently we don't even count more than 200 years ago. So there's still mentality among us that we are not the candidates of wealth, of management. Our duty is to run around, and therefore we don't sit at management, we sit at operational. So a lot of us, when we tell you manage your money, you think operation. So what do? You want to be an expert in usage, but not an expert in managing. So the key to managing money well, it is a product of us changing our belief system about what we believe money to be and what we believe the usage of money to be. What is the first thing that comes into your mind when you first have access to money? That's the problem. You are preferably thinking usage before you can think processes, before you can think investments and models of how to generate it. So a majority of us are stuck here because our belief system influences how we do things. Now, the second factor that is important, which is going to influence how you budget, is your environment. Majority of us come from a culture. Now, the environment takes two different shapes. You'll see that in the environment you have the nature and you have the nurture. Now, both of these two factors, they influence how we interact with money, because if you are coming from a culture where money is not valued, the likelihood is that when you have access to money, you will not value it the most and therefore misuse it and let it go. Not only that, majority of us come from a culture where money was scarce, and therefore the moment you have access to it, you think you should use it too quickly and let it go. Now, the environment can influence how you react to your salary when you are grown up. If you are working with guys who, once it's month end, it's party time, it's time for you to go and invest. Not invest, it's time for you to go and spend and shop, and then all the money is gone. So we can have a culture that is not money friendly, and therefore once we have access to money, then we don't manage the money well. Not only that, sometimes even the natural landscape that we live in, the shops, the proximity to the areas, and what the marketplace is promoting is not pro financial prudence, it's pro consumption, and therefore that culture and that environment promotes environment where we don't manage money well and we use it to that. And then there's a third aspect that I want to show you is that one of the factors that influence how we manage money is our behavior. And I know this is not a very common topic that most people deal with, but given my background, I so much want to deal with psychology of money management. It's a course I used to teach on psychology of money management and psychology of debt management, because it is how you think about money and how you think about debt and how you think about your salary that influences what you do with the salary and what you do with the money. Most of the problem is that our behavior seems to be sponsoring our money. What does that mean? It means that your behavior tells you how to use your money, rather than your knowledge of money sponsoring the behavior that you want to display in the society. And I thought this is going to be a key point for my discussion with you today, that you need to let your money sponsor your behavior and not your behavior to sponsor how you use your money. I think that's a key point. Let your money sponsor your behavior, not your behavior to sponsor how you use money. Majority of us, we manage money based on how we have been brought up and level of exposure that we have had and what we have seen people whom we thought they have money do. And therefore, once we have money, that's what we do. So money management begins when we begin to allow knowledge to inform how we do things. Remember, one of the things that I've emphasized in this session, which comes from Hosea chapter number 4, verse number 6, is that how my people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge. What you don't know is very dangerous to you. And most of us don't have facts and correct information regarding money. And therefore, we are pre-exposed to deception and wrong information regarding how we want to manage money. I want to close with this key thought. The problem of poor people and the problem of mismanagement of money and the problem of employees who earn and in a week they are broke, and the problem of people with no investments and the problem of a consumption nation, as much as it's an economic problem and a financial problem, it's a behavioral problem. It is a behavioral problem because how you manage money is influenced by your behavior. And you need to allow knowledge and facts to influence your money management so that your money management skills sponsors your behavior, not allow your behavior to be at the top. So if we can change the information that we have about money, then we can move towards budgeting. Then budgeting can become an easy exercise. It is difficult right now to talk about money management because the key problem is that the behavior of most people is not money friendly. So as you start this series, this is episode number 1. Change your behavior, then you would change how you manage money. I can say it the other way around. Acquire correct information about money, then it will influence how you spend the money. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to share this information with your friends and with your family. It will help. It's going to be an interesting episode. We'll be running this series for some time. It is going to be interesting. Please share it, download it if you are watching from the podcast, and make sure that all people in your circle subscribe to this channel and learn and they become better. Let's see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining me.